We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This axiom of American ideals has resonated with Americans since the nation's inception. But during the Great Depression, one man dared to question whether this principle still held true. That man was Huey P. Long, populist and rabble-rouser who was a passionate advocate for social reform and wealth redistribution. In his speech, Every Man a King, he argues that the massive wealth imbalance in the United States is a betrayal of the phrase that all men are created equal. Long also used powerful analogies to connect with the suffering public. In a time of desperation, Long's message struck a chord with the American people.
Did that mean, my friends, that someone would come into this world without having had an opportunity? Of course. To have it hit one lick of work should be born with more than it and all of its children and children's children could ever dispose of, but that another one would have to be born into a life of starvation.
Long didn't just identify the problem, he proposed a solution: the Share Our Wealth Society. This movement sought to make every man a king by providing essential needs for all and limiting extreme wealth. Rather than directly redistributing assets, Long proposed capping individual wealth with $50 million at the highest end and $1.5 million at the lowest. He claimed that this movement, incorporated correctly, will bring back balance to the economy.
If you were on an island where there were 100 lunches, you could not let one man eat up the 100 lunches, and not let anybody else eat any of them. If you did, there would not be anything else for the balance of the people to consume.
In his second, more technical speech titled Share Our Wealth, Huey Long delved deeper into his vision. He aimed to guarantee a minimum income of one-third the average family income for all Americans, including those without jobs. His plan included provisions for free education, elderly pensions, and disability care. To prevent future economic crises, Long proposed controlling crop overproduction and properly managing surpluses. All of this would be funded by the excess money from the wealthy, with a wealth tax for anyone owning at least $1 million. Long's plan aimed to provide economic security and stability to American families during times of economic hardship. He wanted to create a safety net that would protect citizens from poverty and destitution. Long's Share Our Wealth movement had a strong populist appeal. He gained significant support from working-class Americans who felt left behind by the economic system. The Share Our Wealth movement had many effects during the 1930s before its demise. It influenced public discourse, bringing economic inequality and wealth redistribution to the forefront. Long's movement pressured President Franklin D. Roosevelt and his administration to address these issues more aggressively, leading to the implementation of the Social Security Act and other New Deal programs. Now, while Long's specific proposals were not implemented nationally, his ideas continue to influence political and social movements, advocating for wealth redistribution and economic justice. Long's legacy lived on in various forms within the broader progressive movement. In 1928, Huey Long assumed the role of one of Louisiana's governors. One of his first actions as Louisiana governor was to renovate Louisiana State University. While not as drastic as funding for the poor or wealth redistribution, such a task seems fitting for Long. After all, many people would be able to make use of a new medical school. In order to fund the renovation, Long made an arguably illegal use of state funds to purchase land from the university. This land was used for the state capitol building, which Long himself aided in the design of, requiring the Capitol building to be a grandiose 450-foot skyscraper, adorned with opulent marble interiors and expensive artworks. Furthermore, Long commissioned the construction of the Huey P. Long Fieldhouse, featuring the world's longest swimming pool at the time. Ruffin G. Pleasant, a former governor, argued that Huey P. Long's ambitious public works programs, including the construction of new roads, bridges, and public buildings, significantly increased Louisiana's debt during his tenure as governor. These initiatives, while designed to benefit the state's infrastructure and its people, came at a significant cost. Long's approach often involved imposing taxes on the population, as he believed transparency in tax allocation would garner public support. However, when tax revenues fell short, Long didn't hesitate to spend beyond the available funds. In his view, Louisiana's debt was a more acceptable alternative than neglecting the needs of its citizens. According to estimates, Louisiana's debt skyrocketed from $16 million in 1928 to well over $150 million by 1935. Long also faced criticism for diverting state public funds to finance his powerful political machine and employing aggressive tactics against his political opponents. These expenditures stood in stark contrast to Long's professed goals in his speeches, particularly given the backdrop of the Great Depression. In 1929, the House impeached Governor Huey Long. However, he employed a shrewd tactic to avoid conviction: a round robin signed by 15 senators who pledged not to convict him. He claimed that the round robin signers agreed with him on legal grounds, arguing that his impeachment was illegal because his offenses were not impeachable. Consequently, Long evaded impeachment and emerged politically unscathed. Immediately following this near-death experience of his career, Long awarded the signatories of the round robin with prestigious positions, such as district judge and state penitentiary warden, sparking controversy and accusations of political favoritism. Long's corruption didn't end there. As punishment for speaking against him, he relieved many mayors, judges, and other government officials of their positions, proclaiming,
"Maybe you've heard this book. It's the Constitution of the state of Louisiana. I'm the Constitution around here."
In response to these actions, many of Long's critics likened him to a dictator or fascist. Of course, any democratically elected leader would object to being a fascist. But Huey Long responded to these claims in an unusual way. He claimed FDR was a fascist for endorsing candidates in congressional elections across multiple states. Huey P. Long's legacy is a complex tapestry of social reform, wealth redistribution ideals, and controversies. His lavish spending and the allegations of corruption that surrounded him have left an indelible mark on the narrative of his political career and the state of Louisiana.